Well, it's getting towards the end of February now, and so we're going to be starting to think ahead to planting our summer crops, things like the peppers and the chilies and the tomatoes, things that need a longish growing season. We want to start planting those now, so I thought I'd show you how I plant those up. And so we're going to start with our soil mix to begin with. I've pre-made the soil mix down here. It's already in a bucket because it just makes life a lot easier. The soil mix comprises of vermiculite, which is this stuff here you can get from most garden centres. The reason we put vermiculite in, so I can show you some. Vermiculite is sort of like it's a silicon-based mineral is kind of what it does, but it holds moisture. If the soil is too wet, it pulls the moisture out of the soil and holds it. But then as the soil dries out, it actually releases moisture back into the soil. So putting it into a soil mix actually enables a good stable moisture level throughout a soil. So we've got 1 part vermiculite, then we've got some perlite, which is this stuff here. This is a volcanic rock which is heated up and becomes a bit like popcorn really, but it adds air and prevents the soil from compacting when you're watering it, so it doesn't sort of compact too much, so the roots have got room to grow. So putting perlite in as well to help with soil structure. So that's 1 part perlite, 1 part vermiculite, and another part of peat moss. And so you get a third and a third and a third to make up your growing medium, which is soil. Because we're starting off seeds, I don't bother putting any fertilizer or anything in it because they don't really need it right now. So we just start off with a sort of a clean base soil to begin with. So we've laid out all our trays and things on the side here. What we're going to plant up today, I've got a few packets of seeds. I collect them from all over the place. Depends on where I see them. We're trying the lemon habanero here, which I found, so we're going to try that. So that'll go, we'll probably put 2 plants of those down that end. We're trying cayenne peppers as well. These are £1 from Wilco's, if you have a Wilco's near you, so we'll try those. From a company called Sow Seeds, they're online, we're trying a rosella and a black Russian tomato. So put those in there, there and there. Aubergines did really well last year, so we're going to be going for those again. We're going to try different varieties. We've got Black Beauty, which is what we did do last year. They turned out really well. We're trying the Italian long shape aubergine as well, and the pinstripe one. I'm going to try those, see how we get on with those. I've got the long bell peppers as well this time. I'm going to try those. See what we think of those. And also I saved some seed from the bell peppers that I planted last year, and so I've saved those seeds, so we're going to plant up some of them as well. So that's all our seeds all planted out or laid out as to where we're going to put them. So got enough seeds. I'm using a 6-pack seed trays here. They're in a plastic bigger tray as well, which they sit in, just prevents the water from leaking out. And they're also sitting on a rubber heat mat, which I picked up from eBay. They do some really good ones on. This is a meter long one by about 50 centimeters deep, so enough to hold all the trays of seeds that we're going to be having here, because things like peppers and chilies need warmth from below to be able to germinate. So we take our soil and literally just start filling our trays with them. Just generally push it about. Don't compact it all down, particularly we'll let the water, when we water it in, that'll do that. So the first one we're going to try is the aubergine, the long aubergine. So just open up the seed tray. First of all, we're just going to go along, put a load of holes in these pots. because we haven't compacted it down, it's nice and loose. The watering will compact the soil around the seed and prevent it from not germinating. So done that. So our first tray we're going to do in is this one here. So this is the long aubergine. So we're only going to do a couple of seeds per hole. Like that. When it's cold, we'll just quickly write a ticket on. I'm just going to put long aubergine because it's just easier to know. So long aubergine, and we'll stick that in there. Just makes it easier so you know what's what and where it's there. This is a cayenne pepper. This is a chili, really. See how these go. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 pots of these. And these are the lemon habaneros. So again, these I've never grown before. Chilies did really well last year over the allotment, so no reason why they shouldn't do well this year. And that's the habanero. Habanero chili. And if you just go over, cover all the seeds back up with the soil. They're not particularly fussy about being gentle with them, just make sure you get some soil over the top of them. And then we just gently water them in. Like that. Okay, these will probably take a good 2-3 weeks depending on the weather. They're on a heat mat, so they'll get gentle heat come through anyway. It'll take a couple of 2 or 3 weeks before they germinate. And peppers, they'll be in here for a while because they won't be going out until probably beginning of May, so they'll be in here sort of for a good 60 days, probably 90 maybe, until they're ready to go out into the field. So that's the first part of setting up and planting for our summer vegetables later in the season. Take care.